Crypto Pirates Daily News. February 9, 2022. News headlines. What will Bitcoin and Ethereum look like in 2022 as XRP, Dogecoin, and Shiba Inu soar? Mitsubishi UFJ Trust will launch a stablecoin to speed up settlement processes. Tesla suffers a $141 million loss on a Bitcoin bet. What will you be able to do in the metaverse in 2022? What exactly is crypto lending, and how does it work? Sandwich traders are making a fortune on cryptocurrency. The vast majority of them are bots. During the Super Bowl commercial campaign, a cryptocurrency exchange will give away Bitcoin. How to mint Invisible Friends NFT coins. Bitcoin may continue to tumble, but how long will the crypto winter last? Shiba Inu news. Why is SHIB increasing in value? What will Bitcoin and Ethereum look like in 2022 as XRP, Dogecoin, and Shiba Inu soar? Despite severe predictions, the Bitcoin price has risen by roughly 10% since early January, while the Ethereum price has risen even more. However, lesser cryptocurrencies such as Ripple's XRP, the meme-based Dogecoin, and its main rival Shiba Inu have soared, leaving Bitcoin and Ethereum in the dust. Now, experts at crypto research firm FS Insight, helmed by JP Morgan's former chief equities strategist Tom Lee, have published a massive 2022 Bitcoin and Ethereum price prediction, predicting that this year would see another wave of crypto investors. This is much different from last year, when tech stocks were still doing well but Bitcoin sold off along with the rest of the crypto market cap. FS Insight's Sean Farrell, head of digital asset strategy, wrote in a note first reported by CoinDesk, adding that the expected rally will be driven by legacy market capital entering the fold. Financial institutions and Wall Street titans have showed a lot of interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the previous year, with some now offering trading services to clients. Despite Bitcoin's difficult start to the year, Farrell forecasts that the price of Bitcoin might reach $200,000 per Bitcoin in the second half of 2022. Bitcoin fell over 50% from its all-time highs in the 2 months leading up to January, plummeting to around $32,000 per Bitcoin. Farrell also projected that the price of Ethereum may reach $12,000 per Ether due to the expansion of decentralized finance, DeFi, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and other Web3 applications, noting that Ethereum is undervalued in comparison to cloud platforms. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most other major cryptocurrencies plummeted substantially in the last months of last year and into 2022 as investors worried about expected interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve, leading soaring stock markets to stop. Mitsubishi UFJ Trust will launch a stablecoin to speed up settlement processes. Mitsubishi UFJ Trust, situated in Tokyo, seeks to strengthen its financial services by embracing blockchain technology and introducing a stablecoin. Mitsubishi UFJ Trust, a financial services corporation, seeks to improve its transaction system by incorporating blockchain technology for trading and a cryptocurrency for payments. As a result, according to a new rumor, it will establish a stablecoin pegged to the value of the Japanese yen. Mitsubishi stablecoin. According to a recent Nikkei Asia story, Mitsubishi UFJ Trust, a Tokyo-based bank with over $1.5 trillion in assets under management, is looking to enter the realm of crypto by releasing its own digital currency. The financial product will be a form of stablecoin linked to the Japanese yen. The token will allow the institution to improve its payment process by allowing it to settle securities transactions promptly. In Japan, similar monetary procedures currently take a few days and cost tens of millions of dollars per year. Many people believe that using a stablecoin will eliminate those expenditures. Furthermore, the program should encourage the use of blockchain technology in securities trading. In collaboration with Daiwa Securities and SBI, the Japanese Trust Bank pushed its use. Digital securities allow customers more flexible investment options. For example, blockchain technology has transformed traditional assets such as real estate or corporate bonds into goods that can be purchased in tiny quantities, making retail investments possible. Japan, one of the world's most industrialized economies, is a prominent player in the cryptocurrency business. Simultaneously, residents have recently shown an increased interest in the asset class. Digital transactions increased by more than half in 2021 compared to 2020, totaling more than 103 trillion yen, $900 billion. Stablecoins may be subject to strict regulation. It is safe to expect that Mitsubishi UFJ Trust's proposal will face regulatory scrutiny before it is launched. Last summer, some Japanese officials expressed concern that stablecoins could disrupt Japan's financial environment and, as a result, should be rigorously regulated. With worldwide advancements in digital currencies moving so quickly, one of them observed, Japan can no longer leave things unchecked. The Financial Services Agency, FSA, formed a section to oversee cryptocurrency regulation in 2020. Shortly after, the Ministry of Finance considered expanding the number of employees required. The potential regulation may benefit Japan's central bank, which plans to issue a CBDC. Trials are likely to begin this year, with the product's initial distribution scheduled for 2026, according to Governor Haruhiko Kuroda.
Tesla suffers a $141 million loss on a Bitcoin bet. If you've been hurt by the recent volatility in Bitcoin, you're not alone. Tesla, led by the world's richest person, Elon Musk, has also been impacted by the crypto craze. In its annual filing to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the electric vehicle, EV, manufacturer declared a $101 million impairment loss due to its investment in Bitcoin. The loss is mainly an accounting issue, and it has no influence on Tesla's overall financial health. According to the SEC filing, the corporation still holds around $2 billion in Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And Tesla did claim a $128 million gain on its Bitcoin investment following the sale of some of its holdings in March 2021. Shares of Tesla were up 2% Monday morning. However, the stock has dropped more than 10% this year as investors shift away from technology and into more value-oriented industries such as oil. Bitcoin prices surged Monday as well, gaining nearly 4% to roughly $43,000. But the price of one Bitcoin has plummeted more than 7% so far this year and is down approximately 40% from its all-time high of just under $69,000 in November. In early 2021, Tesla invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Mr. Musk has repeatedly tweeted about his support for the top crypto as well as for other lesser, meme currencies such as Dogecoin. The company also briefly took Bitcoin as payment for its electric cars last year, but reversed course in May following opposition from critics over Bitcoin mining, which needs enormous energy and is not ideal for the environment. Nonetheless, Tesla remains positive on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We believe in the long-term potential of digital assets as both an investment and a liquid alternative to cash, Tesla stated in the SEC filing. As with any investment, and in accordance with how we manage fiat-based cash and currency equivalent accounts. Based on the demands of the business and our assessment of market and environmental conditions, we may grow or decrease our holdings of digital assets at any time.
What will you be able to do in the metaverse in 2022? The future potential of the metaverse are apparently endless, but is there anything you can accomplish in the metaverse right now? The metaverse is often couched in such futuristic terms that it's difficult to understand how you can get involved in it today. But, in reality, metaverse-like worlds have existed for decades, and you may have previously encountered some of them without even realizing it. What is the metaverse again? The metaverse, based on venture capitalist Matthew Ball's theory, is a permanent online universe that blurs the barriers between reality and virtual reality. The metaverse is a 24/7 online environment populated by economics that reward a new network of artists and infrastructure providers. It is far more than a Call of Duty match. Importantly, this economy is based on interoperable in-game assets. This approach deviates significantly from the walled gardens, closed ecosystems that we're accustomed to. Ball gives the example of a skin for a Counter-Strike pistol that could easily be translated into a decoration for a Fortnite weapon. While Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, previously Facebook, has its own ideas for the metaverse, the cryptocurrency industry believes blockchain technology is ideal for this innovative online realm. Crypto games such as The Sandbox and Decentraland provide early glimpses of how a creator-led, crypto and NFT-powered economy might operate. So, here's what you can do today in the metaverse. In virtual worlds, you can create, explore, and play. For the greater part of a decade, games like Minecraft and Roblox have been giving metaverse-type experiences. Second Life and EVE Online have been active since 2003, and World of Warcraft debuted in 2004. Second Life, with its creator-led economy and enormous sandbox environment, is one of the closest metaverse analogues. In Second Life, you can do whatever you want, and some people have been documented spending their whole lives in the game, living off the virtual land, harvesting the game's in-game currency, Linden dollars, and attending events. Crypto games like The Sandbox and Decentraland are turning the video game economy on its head in the 2020s by introducing digital assets into the mix. You can not only import your own non-fungible tokens, NFT, into the games to purchase virtual land, but you can also utilize the game's fungible governance tokens to change the parameters of the virtual environment you'll inhabit, explore, and develop in. Both are powered by cryptocurrencies. The Sandbox employs fungible sand tokens as in-game currency and NFTs to represent parcels of land and other game-native goods, like as assets that beautify your avatar, whilst Decentraland uses fungible mana tokens and comparable non-fungibles for virtual assets. You only need to connect a crypto wallet, such as MetaMask, to establish accounts. However, with Decentraland, you can play as a guest without connecting a crypto wallet. The Sandbox is technically in alpha testing, and the first season has ended. Therefore you won't be able to play it until Alpha Season 2 is launched, the date of which has yet to be determined. Aside from the crypto economics, these games are just like any other sandbox game. You may walk around the game's respective virtual worlds, hanging out with the businesses and celebrities that are vying to corner the market. You may roam around virtual locations like retail malls, art galleries, and plazas and talk to others, play games, build houses, and attend events. Decentraland even hosts its own music festivals. Unfortunately, despite advances in computer game visuals, many of the current games seem little better than Second Life did in 2003. But, at least in theory, the magic is in the bonds you can form with your virtual brethren. Meet individuals from all across the world for job or enjoyment. There are numerous hangout spots in the metaverse. While large open worlds like the Sandbox and Decentraland are great places to congregate, you may also experiment with custom-built rooms on platforms like Spatial. These apps are designed specifically for events, conferences, and meetings. Spatial can be accessed with a Web 2 login, such as Google, or a Web 3 login, such as MetaMask. Spatial's virtual worlds are divided into rooms, which you can visit or construct yourself. NFTs are supported by Spatial's galleries. Spatial's world can be explored via mobile, Steam, a browser, or an Oculus VR headset. Virtual reality excels at one of Ball's metaverse criteria, presence. Put on a virtual reality headset, such as an HTC Vive, Valve Index, or Meta, previously Oculus, Quest, and enter cyberspace. Meta, previously Facebook, is developing a social hub for its VR headsets, and Steam's VR software comes with a virtual house pre-installed. Games like VR Chat predated Bitcoin, and allow you to visit rooms full of other individuals using VR headsets, dressed in whichever avatar they desire. Companies such as Meta Hub are establishing virtual hangout areas for conferences and corporate events, and Decentraland will organize its inaugural music festival in 2021, though musicians have been doing so in Second Life long before it was hip. Hanging out is where the metaverse's boundaries begin to dissolve and the marketing spiel begins to disintegrate. Is Zoom a critical component of the metaverse due to its track record of connecting workplaces and driving a work-from-home revolution? Or, as Mark Zuckerberg highlighted in his Meta address, is it an unconvincing alternative to reality that substitutes face-to-face interaction with rows of faces on screens? Make a 3D avatar that resembles you. Or not. Your avatar is an important aspect of your metaverse identity. For some, profile image NFTs such as CryptoPunks or the Bored Ape Yacht Club are sufficient for Discord and Twitter, which are largely text-based platforms where a 2D photo suffices. For 3D environments, apps like Ready Player Me provide resizable digital identities that, according to the company, can be used in 1,330 apps and games, including Nike's RTFKT, Somnium Space, and VR Chat. You could even buy an NFT sneaker from RTFKT, or an avatar from its planned avatar project, although it's unclear which games will let you wear these. In Somnium Space, an Ethereum-based virtual reality open environment comparable to Decentraland, you can import a Ready Player Me avatar made from nothing more than a selfie. According to Ball's paradigm, this satisfies the interoperability criterion, the ability to carry your digital assets with you regardless of which platform or software you are using. Invest in virtual real estate, NFTs, or tokens. Of course, if you don't want to give up reality just yet, you might always invest in the popular virtual worlds. There are numerous approaches that can be taken. You may invest in NFT avatar drops, like those offered by Nike or Adidas. You may speculate on virtual land or in-game items similar to those available on Axie Infinity, Decentraland, and the Sandbox. You might also invest in such games' fungible tokens, which serve as in-game cash. If you're not sure which token to invest in, you could always invest in a metaverse index fund, such as Index Coup's Metaverse Index, MVI. The MVI rebalances its portfolio based on the top metaverse currencies of the day. If cryptocurrency isn't your thing, you could consider investing in the stock of virtual reality and metaverse companies. One firm that is betting big on the future of virtual and augmented reality is Meta. One analyst on Seeking Alpha thinks that the corporation will have invested $70 billion on the concept between 2014 and 2023. Stocks in virtual reality and the metaverse, as well as private investments, are also on the table. What exactly is crypto lending, and how does it work? Blockchain-based decentralized lending is a new alternative to traditional banking and fiat currency. Because of the rise of alternative assets such as DeFi and tokens, the crypto lending sector is expanding. While there are numerous decentralized cryptocurrency loan platforms, none provide a diverse range of cryptocurrencies from various regions. A crypto lending platform is a website that allows investors to borrow money in order to boost the possibility of their profits. The primary purpose of such platforms is to empower the Bitcoin market while also providing investors who are unable to do so due to a lack of leverage or fiat with something to use. Crypto lending is a sort of decentralized financing in which investors lend their Bitcoins to various borrowers. In exchange, they will get interest payments, commonly known as crypto dividends. Rates of interest may differ depending on the platform and coin. You can learn why 2021 is the best year for Bitcoin. The lender, the lending platform, and the borrower are the three main players participating in the crypto lending process, which takes us to the crypto lending process. The crypto lending methodology. The borrower visits a crypto lending platform and applies for a crypto loan. Before the request could be processed, the borrower would need to be registered on the platform. Typically, the required investment is disclosed as soon as you enter the amount you wish to borrow. To make graphics, we would use the famous loan site Celsius. There is a list of stable coins from which you can borrow, as well as a USD option. By default, the amount of collateral required for the request to be accepted will be displayed in BTC as soon as you enter the amount you wish to borrow. Until the borrower is able to repay the entire loan, the borrower will not be able to recover the collateral. Lenders will instantly fund the loan through the platform, which lenders will not be able to view. Lenders are paid interest on a monthly basis, and when the borrower repays the loan in full, he receives the crypto collateral he pledged back. In summary, the lender takes part in the crypto lending process by depositing their crypto assets for a fixed or flexible duration in order to receive passive income on their holdings. Borrowers must use their crypto assets as security for loans rather than selling them, and they must pay interest on the loans. The Bitcoin lending platform serves as a regulated intermediary for the lending and borrowing process. The lending platform could be centralized or decentralized, which would impact how the loan process is approached, which could include matching orders, liquidity pools, or codes. However, there are inherent hazards associated with crypto lending. Risks associated with volatility. Many cryptocurrencies are subject to a wide range of price changes. This risk is readily avoided by putting money in a savings account and investing in safe coins. Consistent coins, such as the USDT, are those that are connected to an underlying asset with a stable value and hence have a low risk of volatility. There is insufficient legal certainty. Formal concerns may occur, especially when dealing with DeFi providers, because they lack licenses, a CEO, and legal contracts, signaling that you are not dealing with a legal organization. If CeFi platforms, such as Celsius, do not meet their contractual commitments, you may be able to sue the platform provider. Risks of insolvency. Because crypto savings accounts are not insured by the state, you could lose all of your money if the platform provider goes bankrupt. You should always be informed of your crypto loan platform provider's financial stability, and you should be wary of less established platforms. Risks to the third party. Whether you're a lender or a borrower, cryptocurrency lending platforms may use your cryptocurrencies. They generally lend them to cryptocurrency exchanges, hedge funds, and other institutional investors. As a result, if any of these counterparties fails to return the bitcoins, your loan platform may become bankrupt.
Sandwich traders are making a fortune on cryptocurrency. The vast majority of them are bots. The best part of any sandwich is usually found between the slices of bread. When it comes to cryptocurrency trading, though, being trapped in the middle of a sandwich trade is far from ideal, and it usually means you've been beaten by a machine. Cryptocurrency trading is not limited to humans. Developers construct and deploy bots to automate Bitcoin trading. According to a recent Bloomberg story, these bots have amassed hundreds of millions, and maybe billions, of dollars in earnings across the Ethereum ecosystem in recent years by employing a popular strategy known as sandwich trading. Sandwich trading refers to the method by which a bot is built by software engineers to detect when another trader attempts to purchase a token or a piece of cryptocurrency on a blockchain network, such as Ether or Cardano. The bot then places an order on the same token. If the bot is successful in completing the buy before the other trader, the price of the in-demand token will rise. However, it's possible that the person who was attempting to purchase the token in the first place still desires it. That is when the bot finishes the sandwich and sells the token to the trader at a higher price than the trader would have paid if the bot had never appeared. Even though it's unsportsmanlike, experts informed Bloomberg that sandwiching trades are a legal method of blockchain trading. Developers deploying these bots have totally swamped the Ethereum market in recent years, amassing tremendous profits along the way. The strategy has been so successful that, according to Bloomberg, it has become more difficult for other traders using bots to make money on Ethereum, because there are so many bots. As a result, traders are now sending their bots to do a sandwich maneuver on smaller blockchains such as Solana, Polygon, and Avalanche. According to recent reports, several of these blockchains are dealing with the sudden exponential spike in traffic. After months of experiencing major congestion issues, Solana announced in January a series of recent developments aimed at addressing the increase in bot traders, including the implementation of a series of flow control measures designed to improve network performance and manage the influx of sandwich trading bots.
During the Super Bowl commercial campaign, a cryptocurrency exchange will give away Bitcoin. As part of a Super Bowl commercial campaign, cryptocurrency exchange FTX is giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin. The ad will air during the second half of the NFL championship game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. The sweepstakes will have 4 winners, but the amount of Bitcoin awarded will be determined by when the advertising airs on the East Coast. For example, if the ad airs at 9:20 p.m. on Sunday, the 4 winners will each receive 9.2 BTC, which is approximately $390,000 as of Monday afternoon. If the ad is played later in the game, such as at 10 p.m., the reward money rises to 10 BTC, or approximately $425,000. Participants must follow FTX's Twitter account and retweet the exchange's pinned tweet between the time the ad airs on Sunday and 11:59 p.m. that night to enter and win. According to the sweepstakes rules, The 4 winners will be picked at random. FTX isn't the only exchange taking use of the country's greatest sporting event to draw attention to the burgeoning cryptocurrency market. According to the Wall Street Journal, Coinbase, the largest US exchange, and Crypto.com are both advertising advertisements. "It's a method for us to get our name out there," FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried remarked. "It's difficult to find a more prominent place to do that than this." Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies in general, have had an eventful few months. Bitcoin reached an all-time high of $69,000 in October, as some investors regarded the cryptocurrency as a hedge against inflation. However, Bitcoin has recently fallen in pace with traditional stocks, which have been in decline due to concerns about the Federal Reserve's plan to raise interest rates and the situation in Ukraine. Bitcoin fell below $34,000 last month. Bitcoin has risen from $37,400 on Friday to roughly $44,000 on Monday afternoon. The value of the flagship cryptocurrency has increased by more than 5% in the last 24 hours alone. Other cryptocurrencies also closed the day in the green on Monday. Ethereum, the second largest digital asset, surged 4.45% to $3,130, Ripple rose 17.2%, and Cardano rose 4.75%. How to mint Invisible Friends NFT coins. Non-fungible tokens, NFTs, have recently grown in popularity, yet, many new initiatives have been dangerous, prone to value stagnation, minimal effort, or, worse, outright scams. In this regard, credibility, integrity, and transparency are extremely important, and becoming increasingly rare, in the area, and the Random Character Collective is one of the pillars of these ideals. The Random Character Collective has established an organic community of creators, artists in both physical and digital mediums, and consumers over the course of several successful projects, coining the walking category of animated NFTs. The Invisible Friends Collection is a series of 5,000 animated NFTs designed by Marcus Magnuson and is the Random Character Collective's most recent and possibly most hyped endeavor. The Invisible Friends Collection is now in the pre-mint stage, with the first holders of the NFTs unknown. How to amass invisible friends. Because the Invisible Friends project has not yet begun its public minting phase, the greatest value proposition at this time is the ability to obtain a mint spot by entering the public mint's whitelist. If you are successful in getting on the whitelist, the price to mint an invisible friend on its website is 0.15 ETH plus gas fees, which must be paid via an extension-based cryptocurrency wallet such as MetaMask. How to obtain whitelist status for Invisible Friends NFT collection. The whitelist to mint, like many other NFT projects, is intended to incentivize community engagement, so ways to get on the public whitelist include holding other Random Character Collective tokens, winning Twitter sweepstakes for people who create Invisible Friends fan art, purchasing some of the limited Invisible Friends merchandise, or winning giveaways on its Twitter. Invisible Friends NFTs are what are they? Invisible Friends is a collection of 5,000 animated NFTs depicting walking avatars with translucent skin. NFTs have a diverse set of characteristics that contribute to their scarcity and market value. The Random Character Collective has already announced a 3D cooperation with WinNewt, demonstrating the potential to tie future, airdroppable, projects into Invisible Friends in the same vein as the Bored Ape Yacht Club with the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, which is a possible long-term value increase. Who is the designer of Invisible Friends? Marcus Magnuson started the Invisible Friends project after showing a variety of walk cycles on social media, and he joined the established Random Character Collective. Magnuson has previously released NFTs that have empirically fetched a significant floor price, and the Random Character Collective has already released a number of popular walking NFT collections. In this regard, the makers of Invisible Friends are trustworthy and experienced, and they have also proven to be transparent throughout the collection's creation process. On OpenSea, how can you purchase Invisible Friends? Once the minting process is completed, Invisible Friends can be purchased on OpenSea, removing the randomness of the minting process. However, the collection's floor price will almost definitely be significantly more than the 0.15 ETH mint price. Purchasing Invisible Friends on OpenSea will be similar to purchasing from any other NFT collection in that you will require an extension-based wallet with enough Ether to meet the price of a listed NFT and the associated gas cost. Maintain the security of your NFTs. A hardware wallet, which is completely isolated from the internet, is the greatest long-term solution for keeping your Invisible Friends and other Ethereum-based NFTs safe. In this way, NFTs and other assets held on hardware wallets are protected from phishing attacks produced by fraudulent URLs. Ledger's Nano X and Nano S are two of the most popular hardware wallets, with compatibility for most blockchains and full NFT support on both the Ledger hardware wallets and Ledger Live. Having said that, hardware wallets cannot defend against social engineering vulnerabilities, thus the 24-word recovery phrase linked with your hardware wallet is the path of least resistance to the cache in a hardware wallet and should be secured as such. Hardware-based assaults are also conceivable, but most people consider them to be less dangerous than social engineering attempts. Where can I purchase Ethereum for NFTs? To buy or mint an Invisible Friend or any other Ethereum-based NFT, you'll need Ether, which will cover the Ethereum network's gas fees as well as recompense the project's artists and distributors, in this case Marcus Magnuson and the Random Characters Collective. To purchase Ether, you must use a cryptocurrency exchange, same to how you would purchase foreign cash. These exchanges are classified into two types in the cryptocurrency space: centralized exchanges, CEXs, and decentralized exchanges, DEXs. CEXs are arguably easier to use and better for transferring funds between fiat currencies and digital assets, whereas DEXs have lower fees and more esoteric token trading pairs for transferring funds between digital tokens. Gemini, eToro, Coinbase Global Incorporated, COIN, and Voyager are among the greatest CEXs, all of which have desktop and mobile clients that may be linked to debit and credit cards, as well as bank accounts. Is minting an Invisible Friend NFT worth it? Overall, considering the realistic timeline and reputation of the project, as well as the current demand in the NFT field, minting an Invisible Friend has a relatively minor drawback, assuming that getting into the whitelist is taken for granted. Looking at the current prices of the other Random Character Collective projects and the community passion surrounding fan art and the mint whitelist, the upside is also rather large. Having said that, the long-term value of Invisible Friends, or any other NFT project for that matter, is very speculative and should not be kept without diversification and hedging.
Bitcoin may continue to tumble, but how long will the crypto winter last? January frightened the market, which was already reeling from a greater sell-off. While BTC lost 50% of its value and the market suffered hundreds of millions of dollars in losses, the market appeared to be on the verge of recovery at the time of publication. Scottish historian Neil Ferguson, on the other hand, feels that if Bitcoin continues to follow its historical trend, it could fall further, as it did in 2017. According to him, if this historical pattern holds true, the price would plummet to a low of $11,515 in November, 83% below its November 2017 high. We should recall that economist and Nobel laureate Paul Krugman recently expressed reservations about the crypto asset class. The skeptic drew analogies between the volatile Bitcoin market and the collapse of the US property sector in 2007 and 2008. Ferguson, on the other hand, says Krugman's reasoning does not appear to be the appropriate historical analog. He contended that is not to suggest that the crypto winter cannot inflict a chill greater than the polar vortex or bomb cyclone conjured up by Roubini and Krugman. Having said that, Ferguson's financial history application anticipates that this crypto winter will soon come to an end. According to him, it will be followed by a spring during which Bitcoin makes steady progress towards being not just a volatile derivative of digital gold, but trustworthy digital gold itself. In a similar vein, American entrepreneur David Marcus, co-founder of Diem, has predicted that Bitcoin will be alive and well in 20-plus years with compounding relevance over time. Indeed, he coined the term leaderless leader on Twitter. Crypto aftermath winters on Web3. Despite concerns about the so-called crypto winter, Marcus earlier claimed that these are the times for the best entrepreneurs to develop the best enterprises. And, in the future, Web3 chatter will continue to grow in popularity. Google's Web3 future was confirmed during Alphabet's recent fourth quarter results call. According to Sundar Pichai, with regards to Web3, we are absolutely considering blockchain, which is an intriguing and strong technology with numerous uses, far more than any other application. Google's cloud division also recently announced the formation of a blockchain application development group. Meta is clearly facing stiff competition.
Shiba Inu news: why is SHIB increasing in value? The war for meme coins rages on. The cryptocurrency markets as a whole have seen a respectable recovery during the last week. However, Shiba Inu cryptocurrency news has pushed SHIB's value significantly higher. Bitcoin's value has increased about 20% in the last week alone. Ethereum has been performing nearly as well as Bitcoin. And Dogecoin, the memer's favorite cryptocurrency, is up more than 20%. However, SHIB's value has increased by about 60% in the last week. What is the case with the dubbed Dogecoin killer? Despite some analysts' assertions that this canine-themed altcoin has lost its allure, it surely hasn't. You see, one of the most serious issues with SHIB is the enormous circulating supply. At the time of the previous check, it totaled more than 549 trillion tokens. Even Dogecoin's supply is negligible in comparison, 132.7 billion. And this severely restricts its capacity to evolve into a token capable of competing on a value basis. That is one of the reasons SHIB trades at $0.00003359 per token, whereas Doge trades at 16 cents. According to the newest Shiba Inu cryptocurrency news, it appears as though some investors are beginning to understand this. And some are attempting to rectify the situation in the process. Shiba Inu crypto news that's boosting its value. The mobile app Brickbuster completed its first Shiba Inu burn in late 2021. As a result, about 120 million SHIB tokens were destroyed. The game's developer transferred over 120 million tokens to a dead wallet using the $5,000 gained from advertising income. As word of the fire spread, the price of SHIB increased ever so little. And since then, the game has increased its efforts to burn SHIB. By January 10, Brickbuster had burned 359 million tokens. And there is speculation that February's burn will be the largest yet. It is believed to number in excess of 500 million tokens. This gradual burn is the game's fundamental premise. The objective was to collect all advertising revenue, convert it to SHIB, and burn it. This, in combination with a continuous increase in functionality, should theoretically boost the value of SHIB. For instance, last year saw the birth of the decentralized exchange Shiba Swap. Similarly, last year, Paraguay's main entertainment group declared it would accept SHIB as payment. Furthermore, retailers such as Lowe's, LOW, GameStop, GME, Petco, WOOF, and Ulta, ULTA, have agreed to accept SHIB as payment. However, the majority of this news is not responsible for SHIB's recent price increase. Recently, the Shiba Inu cryptocurrency news that has been driving it higher is about the largest burn to yet. Bigger Entertainment CEO is looking to spearhead a 1 billion SHIB token burn. Furthermore, Shiba Inu recently introduced the Shiboski NFT collection, resulting in the burning of 109 million tokens. Is now the time to invest in SHIB? SHIB's dream of being the Dogecoin killer remains an open subject. However, there is cause to be bullish on this cryptocurrency in the immediate run. At the very least, because all of this Shiba Inu cryptocurrency news is creating a stir. If these burning garner the attention of other organizations who follow suit, the ramifications for SHIB might be enormous. Nonetheless, these burns account only a negligible proportion of the total quantity of SHIB in circulation. Furthermore, it appears as though a large number of people are trading on the news, which makes sense. No other market is as impacted by news stories as the crypto markets are. However, SHIB still has a very long way to go before reaching the all-time high of 1 cent per token. And it will require a large number of more tokens to be spent before that occurs. Shiba Inu crypto news in a nutshell. True, supply and demand determine the path that any coin will take. However, much of that demand is driven by what is happening in the news cycle. When China banned cryptocurrency, it threw markets into a tailspin. For around 1 week. When Russia said it would prohibit cryptocurrency, prices fell across the board. We are now seeing a renaissance a couple of weeks later. The takeaway from all of this Shiba Inu cryptocurrency news is that its impacts will be transient. However, if the rate of SHIB combustion increases, this could act as a significant catalyst moving forwards. Is it a good investment? Only you are capable of answering that question. While its applications are expanding, it is still a very speculative token. It is never a good idea to invest your retirement funds in penny stocks. And we'd apply the same logic to a token trading at a fraction of a cent. However, if you're a gambler with a few dollars to spare, Shiba Inu could take you on a fascinating voyage. And it's likely to have more room for growth in the future than Dogecoin does. We hope you enjoyed watching and listening to this video. Please let us know your opinion in the comments area below. If you found our content useful, please like it and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more crypto-related contents.